e-business monitoring services. Now you may ask yourself, what is it and why do I need it? Now just think about the fact that the internet has really done a great deal towards leveling the playing field for business owners. Whether it's a two-person startup company operating from the kitchen table or a multinational conglomerate with offices throughout the world, both can find success through e-commerce and a first-class website. Yet many companies make the mistake of taking a hands-off approach to their website. Once their site is live, they seem to forget that today's online customers demand that any website consistently deliver a quality performance. If it doesn't, they're going to seek to patronize other websites that perform better. It is no longer enough to simply launch the website and then sit back and hope that customers and prospective customers are having a good experience. Instead, businesses need to be aggressive and proactive in ensuring that that happens. This is where e-commerce website monitoring can contribute to the online success of any business, large or small. Okay, so monitoring is essential to the bottom line. But what are the kinds of monitoring? There actually are two basic groupings of e-commerce monitoring. The first one is known as passive monitoring. And this is the monitoring that we're probably most familiar with. It is taking an internal approach to monitoring web applications. So in other words, it works from within the enterprise. This is the type of monitoring that is often found in large corporations and enterprises where the IT departments are already using other management tools to monitor LAN performance and application performance. The other type of web monitoring is known as active monitoring. This is also called synthetic monitoring because it performs regular scripted checks that simulate end-user behaviors. These tests can be run either from inside the network and more than likely from multiple points on the internet. So let's take a little bit closer look at each one of these different types of e-commerce monitoring. How does passive monitoring work? Well, typically these tools are hardware-based and sit inside the LAN capturing traffic flow as it enters and leaves the site. Sounds familiar, doesn't it, classmates? It is ideally suited to monitor actual end-user interactions as they happen. Some of these monitors will focus on client-side experience by using what's known as a beacon, which actually is a small, usually 1 by 1 pixels, transparent GIF image, or an image that's the same color of the background, so that it is virtually unnoticeable to any web user. And that is put on and embedded into an HTML page. So now whenever the user opens that page with this browser, the image has to be downloaded. And that requires that the browser requests the image from the server that's storing it and also holds the website, allowing that server to take notice of the download. As a result, the organization running the server is informed of when the HTML page has been viewed, which allows for metrics, user activity, and other data to be collected. Other passive monitoring systems focus on the server-side performance, sniffing packet streams using instrumentation on the web server itself or by monitoring a specific network port. Although this method allows the monitoring of page-to-page latency as seen by an actual user, as well as the actual page render times, its biggest disadvantage is that it does not allow the ability to monitor issues that occur outside of the enterprise LAN, such as DNS problems, network issues, and firewall or router outages. On the other hand, active monitoring uses scripting to simulate the actions of an actual user of the website. These scripts execute continuously from various public agents that are placed throughout the world by the performance monitoring provider. As you see from the graphic on this slide, I believe this is from Keynote, they show that they have 19 different monitoring locations, as you can see, spread throughout the world, although primarily in the United States. Plus, they also use 35 different backbone providers to try to give a better overall worldwide picture of an actual web user's experience. As these scripts execute, they record and analyze multiple metrics, reporting on website availability and performance. This is an external approach because the computers that are running the scripts are not located inside the LAN like a passive monitoring device would be, and they aren't even owned by the enterprise. Active monitoring is thought to be proactive as well, not waiting for actual end-user web traffic to occur. This means that performance issues can be detected before they actually affect the website or web applications. The ability to simulate user transactions allows for performance monitoring of scripted business processes, such as the use of shopping carts, secure logins, forms, and many other transactions. Both passive and active monitoring offer benefits, and will both aim to provide critical performance monitoring data. The methodology and results are completely different. In reality, what an enterprise really needs is an approach that combines both types of monitoring solutions, because that offers the highest degree of performance assurance. Issues must be detected before they occur. But remember, problems can also occur even in the best of scenarios. This sample comes from Keynote.com on the slide here and shows exactly what a mixed approach might look like. On the right-hand side, you have the passive monitoring device or private agent that sits inside the LAN and is collecting actual end-user transactions as they move through the internet and to the web server farm on the enterprise. The private agent is located in the middle, and it's collecting and sniffing packets and recording data and metrics. Then you have on the left-hand side the active monitoring piece of this larger picture, which is the public agents, which are simulating the end user experience through the internet. So it says choose from more than 240 end user locations. So they're, remember, scripting end user transactions, sending them over the internet, and then recording the experience, if you will, much like we have learned how to do in some of our earlier classes. So, services that can be provided probably by many, many different organizations, but I looked at 4 different providers because they seemed to me that their products were possibly the most robust and really work to try to offer a combination of both of the different methods. The first company, Keynote.org, as you can see from the graphic, offers various products for monitoring web performance. They have both an active and passive options available, as well as focusing in on a variety of functions that might be present from a particular web server, such as application, streaming, transactions, cloud applications. Unfortunately, they do not provide pricing options on their website, so I am unable to present any of this information. I believe this could be due to the level of customization Keynote would provide for each individual customer. It's also very possible because their product is very, very robust. Of the four that I'm presenting, theirs is probably the best and has the most depth and the broadest type of product. The next company, Neustar Webmetrics, covers what they have to offer in the area of active monitoring. As you can see from this graphic, they too offer application, basic website viewing, and transaction monitoring for their customers. Again, all of this type of monitoring is software-based and involves scripting that would run on Webmetrics-owned agents located throughout the world. In addition to the active monitoring, Webmetrics again also offers the other side and their own version of an internal agent that would work behind the enterprise firewall on the LAN. Yet rather than providing an actual piece of hardware like Keynote does, this company has chosen to provide a software-based private agent that can be installed on virtually any server inside the eBusiness LAN or even on a key customer server. Unfortunately, this company also did not provide any type of pricing on their website. .com Monitor also provides active monitoring options that use simulation techniques that are scripted and originate from their own network of public agents throughout the world. As you can see here, there are also several different ways and types of reports that the enterprise can receive. From the website, it was a bit difficult to ascertain if the private agent is an actual hardware device or is a software solution that can also be installed on any server, similar to Neustar Webmetrics. .com Monitor was one of only 2 vendors that I looked at who provided actual pricing on their website. As you can see again, the price for the end user monitoring is the largest amount of the total package. This is no doubt due to the fact that the vendor must maintain agent machines and backbone connections throughout the globe. The other 2 services, I believe, would occur on the purchaser's LAN, which means they would be covering the cost of operation and maintenance of these systems. You can also see that there are drop-down boxes here for each one of these services. So obviously the cost is going up every time you increase the number of tasks and or the frequency at which you would like the different tasks to be monitored. The last company that I looked at was called Website Pulse, and they too provide services that are similar to the others, but with perhaps a bit less robustness. Here, in this slide, you can see that they're simply monitoring the performance of the web pages with regards to loading the web pages and making sure of the integrity of the contents. Although they also maintain private agents or public agents throughout the globe that they would be able to have simulating end user experiences into your website. If the customer is looking for a bit more detail when it comes to actual transactions performed by end users, Website Pulse offers this kind of active monitoring as well. And you can see they're talking about e-business transactions, so they do offer, and you can look at the graph here, a bit more robustness in the transaction part of the e-business. This graph shows you how many seconds it took for each step of a particular shopping transaction that occurred in the last 2 hours that was being monitored. Website Pulse also advertised prices, which in looking at, they seem fairly reasonable. Yet remember that most of what they are doing is simply scripting a web transaction and then sending it to your website and sniffing packets as they pass from the monitoring location to your web server and back. They then create nice looking charts and graphs. Another factor to note is that they are only sending scripts from 1, 2, or a maximum of 3 different public agent sites. Not very reflective of actual end user locations, hopefully. Want to learn more? Wondering where you can get the best deal or what is the best deal when it comes to e-commerce website monitoring? Here are the 4 websites that I used for the different vendors to help me get a better handle on what e-commerce website monitoring was and also what was provided in that particular service. As I said in the beginning of this presentation, a simple Google search on e-business monitoring services produced pages and pages of vendors' websites who will be more than happy to provide you with their product at a price. What I believe is important before you begin your search is to know first of all what you would like monitored and why. Is it simply web page loading time? Is it transaction time? What exactly are you looking to find out more about? How important is it to you that your customers have a positive web experience? Then think about who your customers are and where they are located. Do you really need to know what an end user in Africa's experience of your site would be when you are a local heating and cooling contractor? I suggest that you do your homework before you begin to look to someone to help you find out about your e-commerce and its success or failure. Thank you for your time. I hope that you have learned a few things about e-commerce website monitoring services. I know I have, and I look forward to hearing some of your presentations and learning more about those topics.